Hi, everyone. It's great to see all of you in this room. Welcome to the fashion panel, Elevating Style and Sales. I'm Kate Danielson, Category Manager for Pre-Loved Apparel on eBay. Today, we are going to discuss several things, including success metrics, personal success stories, diving into the data, and how these three panelists have made their mark on the eBay landscape. We will discuss the eBay resale landscape and industry leaders and top sellers and everything in between. So let's dive in, and I'll introduce our panelists and get going. Let's start with Davis Huang from Pattern/Gender. Pattern is a trailblazer who is experiencing early success with eBay Live and continuing to innovate with pricing automation strategies. Their intriguing background involves inheriting a family business traditionally involved in television retail. Next, we have Jorge Mendoza of Thread Revival, a family-run venture that sorts thrift inventory and textile waste into sellable items, international bulk exports, and recyclables. Their efficient warehouse management is driving their business and growth. And finally, we have Chi Ko Tong of Goodwill of Southern California. Goodwill SoCal is witnessing astounding year-over-year growth of more than 10x and is known for developing comprehensive growth sortation and listing optimization tools. Their leadership hails from traditional luxury retail giants who transitioned to charity thrift for better work-life balance and a stronger sense of purpose. So we'll begin with some inspiring stories from our panelists about their journeys and how they've cultivated success in the pre-loved apparel resale space. The insights will provide a real look into the industry dynamics and entrepreneurial spirit of our eBay seller base. So Davis, I'd love to begin with you. Could you please share a little bit about your evolution from television retail into thriving in the pre-loved apparel space on eBay?
Cool, thank you, Kate. So I grew up in a family business. Essentially, my parents, they were selling computer electronics. So for us, like growing up, like we were always messing with computer and electronics. And then we started seeing that category saturate for us, like within our business. And maybe about 7 years ago, essentially me and my brothers, we got together, we were trying to build essentially like a tech stack to help manage their business. And we just happened to build it. And at the same time, we started dabbling with other categories. And the first category we started off is with women's shoes. So essentially what we do right now is we partner up with like different brands, retailers, 3PLs, and we process customer returns at like essentially scale. So like if you think about your Amazon, a lot of times you don't like that dress, you don't like the shoes, you return it. You return the item and that item usually is not sellable back on shelf. So like for us, we've found a niche on just reselling customer returns for fashion brands and retailers.
Thanks. Jorge, as a family-operated business dealing with thrift inventory and textile waste, what are your key challenges and successes in managing such diverse aspects of an operation?
Yeah, I think diverse is the main challenge we face. We process up to 60,000 pounds of clothing every single week. We have a 40,000 square foot facility where we do this. And dealing with pre-loved clothing items can be challenging because of the quality control. So having good people in place to check the quality, make sure it goes to the right department. We have a retail department, we have a wholesale department, and a recycling department. So an item comes in, and it flows through the system all in one facility from beginning to sell or to recycle. So we're really proud that we keep a lot of items out of the landfill, and I'm really excited to keep growing on eBay.
Awesome, thank you. And finally, Chi, can you tell us more about the transition from traditional and luxury retail into the charity thrift sector?
Sounds good. First of all, I just want to start off with our mission at Goodwill Southern California, which is transforming lives through the power of work. Last year, we were able to help 37,000 individuals with barriers with job training and job placement programs. Barriers include homelessness, at-risk youth, justice involved, uniquely able. Those are all the people that we serve and help. And we were also able to divert 2.3 million pounds of landfill and turn it into someone's fashion statement. Obviously, we treat every category like its own category. And in the fashion space, it's obviously led by my right-hand person that used to be in the luxury space to ensure that the eBay customer gets the quality and the standards that they pay for when they're purchasing an item with us through the eBay platform.
Could you dive in a little bit into maybe some of the practices and the lessons learned from luxury retail that you've brought to Goodwill of Southern California?
Definitely. First of all, we have to describe the style to the T. Every attribute matters that eBay offers to the customers, because there's customers that's driven from every attribute when they're looking at your item specific. And another area that I want to dive into is our triple-step authentication process. It starts with the pre-authentication process at the sort level at our retail stores. And then the next step is to hand touch the item to ensure it passes our visual and hand touch inspection. And we also partner with third-party authenticators to ensure that the customer gets exactly what they're paying for, especially with someone with the luxury background coming into space, purchasing a luxury good with eBay. We have to make sure we build the trust and confidence that the customer can trust our selection and the work we do prior to posting the listing itself.
Really helpful, thank you. Kind of related, I'd love to dive into some of the best practices for selling apparel in the marketplace environment and the strategic decisions that have propelled your success. Davis, what innovative pricing automation techniques have you found most effective?
Sure. So our pricing strategy actually deals a lot with AI. I know that buzzword's been going around a lot, but essentially we do use AI internally through our software. So essentially what we do look at is like the brand, for example. The brand is really important. And for example, the aspects such as like the color, the material, the style of article of clothing makes a big difference on the price. And then also including marketplace data and sell-through data that we have internally and then just throughout marketplaces. So that's how we can shoot our listings really fast. At the end of the day, we want to try to get the best price and the best sell-through rate for our items.
And that's Pattern you're describing?
That's Pattern we're describing, yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Do you want to dive in a little bit between the difference of Pattern and Gender?
Sure. So Pattern is our kind of like resale tech stack software that we created to essentially power our resale shop. So our resale shop is Gender, and we essentially have a storefront for new and pre-loved items.
Thanks. Jorge, given your unique inventory classifications, what best practices have helped you in maintaining efficient operations?
I think when you think about a pre-loved item that a lot of you sell, you look for defects, you look for brand, you look for gender, and when you're thinking about how you're going to sell it. For us, we have a lot of donation and other thrift items that we have to check for quality very strictly. So when we get an item, it goes through our system, and we have great team members that check with strict quality control standards. They check every item. So if an item meets our retail department, it goes into our online store. If it doesn't meet that department, it goes into our wholesale department where we have different category levels. And if it doesn't meet those category levels, then it goes into our recycling department. So an item flows through the system efficiently we have one building where we process all this. So I would say our best practice is high quality standards and making sure there's no waste of energy and there's no waste of any items through the process.
And what was your learning curve in developing those standards for what ends up on eBay?
Definitely. We learned a lot through just selling and getting feedback. We made mistakes in the past that we corrected. We implemented quality control checks for all kinds of items. I mean, sometimes you might forget to check the pockets of some jeans, and the customer gets the jeans, and there's something unpleasant, maybe a piece of gum or something. So we've been doing this for 10 years. We learned a lot. And taking all of that in, making sure every time we make a mistake, we don't do it again. So we check the pockets, we check everything. We make sure every zipper works. All of those learnings have helped us keep a really high feedback, which is really important for us.
Thank you. And Chi, with your comprehensive sortation tools, how have you optimized your inventory for maximum growth?
Yeah, based on sell-through, price point, inventory capacity and seasonality, we built this tool, what we call Elevated Brands, to help with the sort and pick process, because we want to ensure each item sorted and each item picked meets our e-commerce requirements before it becomes an eBay listing. Just like everybody out in the crowd, we constantly want to identify bottlenecks, and we're seeking for the right technology at the right time to implement that technology to help streamline our operation and processes.
I'd love to now dive into the pre-loved apparel space on eBay, which is a really exciting place to be, as I'm sure many of you agree. Davis, what opportunities are you most enthusiastic about in the pre-loved fashion world?
Sure. I feel like there's so much inventory out there in terms of just like branded fashion, apparel, footwear, and accessories. So I'm just excited to see, because essentially customers want like the best brands or the best product at a good price, and pre-love offers that, I think. So it gives the opportunity for the customer to save money but get the brands that they love.
And how have you seen pre-loved change in the time that you've been working in it?
Sure. I feel like it's been exploding. Like for us, when we originally started, we weren't intentionally, we were already selling new and used products. So we weren't really thinking about like pre-love as like a main category, I guess. But I guess ever since COVID happened, I felt like the explosion of like resell and pre-love it's like making a big impact.
Great. Similarly, Jorge, what about the pre-loved apparel ecosystem do you find most inspiring?
I'm really passionate about this ecosystem. First of all, I love a good deal. Getting other people good deals is the nature of pre-loved items. I think people look for pre-loved items to get a good deal, and I'm happy that I offer that for them. Secondly, I love keeping items out of the landfill. I think that's something very important to me, very important to my family. If an item doesn't sell on eBay or in our wholesale department, we make sure it's recycled into rags to keep it out of the landfill or the oceans any way we can. And lastly, as far as a business, for a lot of you and for myself, you can find an item in a thrift store or in a garage sale for a couple bucks and sell it for $40, $50, $60. This is not something, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this. It's not something that it's like, oh, once in a lifetime. No, you can do this repeatedly if you find the right sourcing. So all those combined, I'm really happy that eBay is supporting pre-loved fashion sellers. I love the pre-loved partner program. There's a lot of things that I think eBay should lean to as far as the recycling and saving things out of the landfill. That inspires me.
Thanks. Chi, can you tell us a little bit more about the sense of purpose that's driving your success and growth?
Sure. I started out at Goodwill about 10 years ago. I was hired on as a retail ambassador. I got to work with a lot of people with barriers. I myself was included as one of them. And through a really compassionate leadership team that has tremendous skills, I quickly learned the knowledge and experience it takes to run a business. I was given a chance, and what drives me forward is that now I could give that chance to the next individual with barriers.
It sounds like a sense of purpose is something that bleeds through all of your engagement in the pre-loved space and with eBay. Can you dive in a little bit on how you balance that sense of purpose and maybe sustainability, which is something that I know a lot of people in the pre-loved space are passionate about? How do you balance sustainability with something like a good deal, and what are your customers really looking for? Go for it.
Can I go first? Okay, cool. So going back on retail returns, for example, which is our specialty, a lot of times, you know, when we receive these returns back from, we receive like these pallets of like goods from different retailers, a lot of times the condition of the item is still like new or like new. It's definitely resellable. It's something that we can prevent these articles of clothing or shoes to end up in a landfill. So these items are still, like, they still have a long time use, I feel like, and that's why I feel like pre-love is here to stay.
Yeah, very similar to to his answer. I think the effort, the material, all the stuff that goes into making one single piece of clothing, for it to be worn a couple times and then thrown out, it's a shame. So I'm really passionate about keeping items in the circular fashion, making sure they're getting the most value out of all the resources that were put into it. And I think fashion in the future will be more circular. I hope in the future it's normal in the future to wear something and then donate it, and it's not something that's shameful to buy used. I really hope that in the future it's something that you're proud of to do.
Thanks.
And I believe that in the pre-loved space, a lot of people are looking for deals, really good condition items for a fraction of the price. And in today's market, I believe the customer wants the full package, right? They want the item at the deal, they want quick turn time, they want nicely packages, and the packaging material that we use is also green. So that's kind of like a triple threat. We keep the garment out of the landfill, give the customer a good buy, and a service and speed that they demand while using a package that is green for the earth, that's biodegradable.
So it sounds like buying pre-loved is also sustainable, and that circular system is growing actively.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Correct.
Cool. I'd love to dive into how eBay is helping and supporting you and elevating your business in the pre-loved apparel sector. I know, Jorge, you already mentioned the pre-loved partner program. Davis, let's start with you. What support have you received or you wish you could receive to help further enhance your business performance?
Sure. Honestly, I feel like y'all have been such a big help to us. Like, I feel like eBay is here to help, and they're just like, any concerns that I have, like, they're always answering it and just supporting our business, I feel like.
Are there specific tools that you have found most useful to succeed on eBay?
Sure. I think the biggest tool that's helped us out is like Terapeak. So you should have Terapeak on y'all's, on your Seller Hub, portal. But essentially, this is how I go about by like sourcing branded items, for example. So branded goods, such as, let's just say, the North Face, Nike. eBay provides those tools to just give you like sell-through data that kind of helps you out on having a better chance of selling your items, essentially.
Great. Jorge, what is eBay doing to help you keep apace with the evolving pre-loved landscape?
Yeah, I think like I mentioned before, the pre-loved partner program is something I really appreciate eBay is doing. It gives buyers confidence that the sellers are going to provide what they promise. Other tools like the AI background removal, AI description, marketing tools. I use coupons, best offers. I put a video on my store page to make sure buyers know our story. All those tools have been super helpful. And in the panel you guys talked about, in the intro panel, you talked about the new messaging tools where you can send offers straight from messages. I know my sister, Carolina, who's watching from home. Hi, shout out. She does our customer service. So her being able to send offers straight from the messages is going to be a game changer. So I love that eBay's innovating and listening to us.
Great to hear. And for the audience, the Pre-Loved Partner Program is something that you can find and apply to on eBay. So if you're not already involved or aware of the Pre-Loved Partner Program, I'm happy to be a resource there. And finally, Chi, at the beginning, I mentioned your 10x growth, which is nothing short of spectacular. In what ways has eBay contributed to this growth?
Pretty much similar to what Davis have said. I use that all the time. Just eBay is able to provide clarity in sell-through, clarity in price prediction, and most importantly is seller support. We meet with them on a bi-monthly basis. They really helped us identify our opportunities, help us scale and grow and overcome those opportunities to maximize our revenue within the marketplace. So that has been tremendous to us. Ever since we launched last year, we relaunched our eBay marketplace last year in July. We saw a huge improvement in sell-through, 50% lift in our average unit price, and over 10x in growth within the marketplace, which is incredible. Every dollar counts to fund our mission. Thank you so much.
You mentioned earlier in the discussion that you're relatively new to eBay at Goodwill Southern California. In the last year, what would you suggest to new eBay sellers as part of your learning curve?
Yeah, definitely. Depending on what stage you are at in the reselling game, of course, I think personally I would start off with two aspects. It has to come from love. Either a love within a category that you have expertise in, or you are really speedy at researching, which eBay offers intensive tools for you to do just that. It's either or. I usually travel 3 to 4 thrift stores per week. Within every thrift stores within our space that I travel, I always see opportunity. I think like a reseller. I'm like, how much can I make after fees, shipping, and the pick time? And so you first have to find interest in the category that you love, or you're just an excellent researcher that you want to maximize your skills and going thrifting every day. I would definitely dedicate time, divide my time and use it wisely. Make one day as a sourcing day, and then the next day probably as a listing day, utilizing all the tools that eBay has to offer.
Great. Well, that marks the end of our panel questions. Thank you so much to the three of you for your invaluable insights. It's clear from our conversation that pre-loved apparel isn't just about fashion, it's about innovation, purpose, and community.